President Donald Trump has just announced a new update regarding his plan of annexation. In this video, I will deliver an extremely detailed analysis of President Trump's strategy, and I will expose the harsh real-world lesson faced by wealthy nations that lack military strength when they come under ownership pressure from major powers, most notably the United States. In a world where hard power has once again become the ultimate factor for survival, this case offers a clear and unsettling warning. Don't skip this video. This is one of the most thorough and in-depth analyses I've created, specifically for you. Welcome to the story of Denmark, a nation world-renowned for its colorful Lego bricks and the dreamy Little Mermaid. For decades, Denmark has been seen as Europe's model student, wealthy, happy, and exceptionally kind. However, in the turbulent world of geopolitics, being too kind can sometimes be a trap. While Denmark was busy building an image of a peaceful nation and pouring its efforts into supporting external conflicts with a sense of chivalry, they seemingly forgot that they possess a real estate asset that the entire world covets: Greenland. The irony lies here. A nation of just over 5 million people, possessing a military that is largely symbolic, is burdened with the responsibility of protecting an island 50 times larger than its own mainland. When Big Brother America made offers to purchase Greenland, Denmark reacted with high-minded dignity. But the harsh reality is, dignity cannot substitute for defense capabilities and icebreakers. Denmark now finds itself like a generous homeowner who gave away all the furniture to neighbors, only to realize when a buyer knocks, demanding the very foundation of the house, they have nothing left to defend themselves with except press releases. This is no longer an Andersen fairy tale. It is a pragmatic lesson in hard power. A wealthy but militarily weak nation struggling to hold on to its last strategic territory under suffocating pressure from its own closest ally. Looking at the map, Greenland appears to be a massive, useless block of ice sitting lonely in the Arctic. But on the geopolitical chessboard, this is diamond real estate that any superpower would crave. Why is the United States willing to spend billions of dollars to buy an island where 80% of the area is permanent ice? The answer lies not in its pristine beauty, but in its strategic location. Greenland is like a massive, unsinkable sentry station, allowing the United States to control the entire gateway to the North Atlantic and closely monitor every move of rivals from the north. Control Greenland and you hold the key to an entire polar region. But that is only the tip of the iceberg. As climate change causes the ice to melt, a treasure that has slept for millions of years begins to emerge. Greenland doesn't just have snow, it has rare earth minerals, the essential vitamin for high-tech industries, from smartphones to guided defense capabilities. Added to that are massive reserves of oil and gas waiting to be extracted. The irony here is this: while the world worries about melting ice raising sea levels, the superpowers are quietly smiling because of shorter shipping routes and easier access to resources. Greenland, once a remote island, has suddenly become a gold mine that everyone wants a piece of. For the United States, Greenland belonging to a small and relatively gentle nation like Denmark is a waste of strategic resources. In Washington's eyes, Greenland should not be a place for penguins or nature conservation. It must be a solid economic and military fortress. This game is not for those who dream of a peaceful world, but for those who understand the value of planting a flag on the Earth's finite resources. To understand why the pressure on Greenland is so immense, we must look into the pockets of the superpowers. The United States, despite being the oil king thanks to shale technology, knows all too well that every party must eventually end. Shale oil is becoming increasingly expensive and difficult to extract, forcing Washington to seek the perfect Plan B. And Greenland, with its vast, untapped resources, is a premium insurance policy for America's energy future. The cruel irony is this: while public speeches are filled with talk of green energy, beneath Greenland's ice, this scramble for oil and gas is what's truly heating up. Controlling Greenland is not merely about planting a flag on the ice. It is about establishing a massive special economic zone. Imagine if the United States owned or had absolute control here, they would hold the keys to the shortest shipping routes connecting continents as the Arctic opens up. That turns Greenland into a strategic toll station that every commercial vessel must reckon with. For U.S. policymakers, leaving a trillion-dollar island under the management of a Danish government, one that prioritizes humanitarian values and the environment, is an unacceptable waste in the global race for survival. The irony deepens here. The United States and Denmark are close friends in NATO, but in economics, business is business. Washington cannot sit idly by while rivals seek access to Greenland through infrastructure or mining projects. By applying pressure on Denmark, the message is clear. If you cannot exploit it and protect it our way, then let us do it. This is a game where Denmark's commitment to international standards becomes a weakness, and pragmatic powers move in to exploit it. Finally, we witness a bitter paradox. Denmark, a nation always willing to empty its arsenals and budget to support collective ideals in distant conflicts, suddenly realizes it is exposed right in its own backyard. As international enthusiasm reaches its peak, its capacity to protect its own land title has quietly declined. In a world of giants, kindness is a precious piece of jewelry, but military strength is the armor for survival. Denmark has been so focused on being a good friend that it forgot one thing. In geopolitics, sometimes your closest friend is the one looking at your land with the most pragmatic eyes. The story of Greenland is not just a real estate bargain. It is a wake-up call about dependency. When a nation relies too heavily on an ally's protective umbrella, it quietly hands that ally the power to decide the fate of its territory. The United States doesn't need to use force to take Greenland. Economic pressure, existing military presence, and offers that cannot be refused. This is a chess game where one player has planned 10 moves ahead, while the other is still occupied with distant moral values. Greenland remains frozen, yet it heats up every day, both literally and figuratively. The lesson for Denmark is also a lesson for many other nations. Never allow yourself to choose between dignity and survival under the pressure of a superpower. The geopolitical game has no room for dreamers. Perhaps it is time for the Danish Little Mermaid to wake up from her fairy tale. Because in a volatile world, if you cannot protect your treasure, there will always be a big brother ready to hold it for you, for a price that is never cheap.